Hell, you're really from there? Prove it. The man from the shadows and his test that shook the galaxy. In the shadowed corridors of Stellar Haven, whispers of unseen predators echoed through the stars, hinting at a test that would shatter the illusion of galactic peace. Little did the assembled beings know, one among them carried the weight of a savage world, ready to unleash a simulation that would force them to confront the fragility of their unity or perish in the attempt. Bryce Varn strode into the spherical classroom of Stellar Haven on June 15, 2457, his 185-meter frame cutting a sharp silhouette against the glowing holographic displays. His black hair cropped short, eyes a piercing blue that betrayed unyielding focus. He wore the standard gray-silver student uniform emblazoned with the Terra Nova emblem, a multi-tool belt slung low on his hips. From the harsh planet of Terra Nova, where survival meant outwitting constant chaos and conflict over centuries, Bryce appeared as just another human enrollee, intelligent, mysterious, decisive, yet fair in his manipulations. But beneath that calm exterior lay the skills of a strategist honed in endless battles, his wrist device humming faintly with untapped potential. The classroom, a vast orb 50 meters in diameter, suspended in the station's central hub, hummed with low-energy fields that simulated gravity, its metallic walls etched with interstellar maps and cultural symbols from a dozen worlds. Alien students milled about, their forms a tapestry of galactic diversity, floating, scuttling, or standing in clusters, all drawn to this hub of peaceful trade and training orbiting a neutral star. Professor Tazara glided to the center podium, her tall, slender form with pale green skin and 4 delicate arms exuding authority. From the serene planet Elisara, where intellect trumped physical might, she donned a flowing purple robe marked with Stellar Haven's insignia. Digital magnification lenses perched on her oval head over luminous eyes. Her voice resonated through translation devices, formal and analytical, as she initiated the survival strategy lecture. Today we delve into the perils that lurk beyond our harmonious borders, she intoned, her tone laced with scientific curiosity, tempered by initial skepticism toward wild worlds. The class settled, a mix of apprehension and eagerness rippling through the air, the room's ambient lights dimming to focus on the central hologram projector. With a gesture from one of her arms, Tazara activated the display, conjuring a life-size hologram of the Nightshade Prowler. The creature materialized as a shadowy beast the size of a large hound, its form blending into darkness with glowing, venomous claws and fangs that could paralyze prey in seconds. Originating from Vorn's eternal night-shrouded forests and caves, it embodied predatory instinct without emotion, moving invisibly to strike. This apex hunter from Vorn represents the universe's raw threats, Tazara explained, her voice echoing with a hint of reluctance. Its toxin induces paralysis within 10 seconds, and its stealth renders most defenses obsolete. How, then, do we strategize survival against such savagery? The students reacted with immediate dread. Quill, a jelly-like being from the gaseous world of Nethoria, hovered at 1.6 meters, her translucent body pulsing with pink luminescence in a zero-gravity suit adorned with energy collars. Shy and prone to panic but loyal and creative under pressure, she trembled, her soft, wind-like voice quavering. "Professor, is there any counter? It could slip through our shields unseen." Beside her, Gorvex loomed large, his insectoid frame armored in black chitin, 6 legs planted firmly, antennae twitching. Hailing from Zoltar's barren collectives where group strength ruled, he was hot-tempered and suspicious, yet brave and honest, his clicking speech sharp. "This thing would crush our hives in minutes. Why study it if we're powerless?" Amid the rising murmurs, Bryce remained composed, leaning against a console with arms crossed, his muscular build a testament to Terra Nova's unforgiving demands. As the hologram prowled virtually around the room, casting eerie shadows, he spoke up, his voice concise and confident. "It's not so different from the predators on Terra Nova. There, beasts with speeds up to 100 kilometers per hour hunt in packs, planning ambushes amid weekly cataclysms. We've adapted not by fearing them, but by outthinking them." The class fell silent, eyes compound, glowing or multifaceted, turning to him in surprise. Dazara tilted her head, her analytical mind sparking with doubt. Student Varn, your comparison challenges established theories. Elaborate, if you will, on how a human from such a turbulent origin views this threat. Quill's form shimmered erratically, her luminescence flaring as a danger signal, a trait from her world's drifting existence with minimal conflict. Bryce, how can you stay so calm? On Nethoria, we float away from dangers, but this prowler would devour us whole. Why aren't you afraid like the rest of us? Her question hung in the air, linking her terror to the group's collective unease, the room's temperature seeming to drop as the hologram emitted simulated growls. Gorvex clicked aggressively, his armored bulk shifting. Yeah, human. Terra Nova sounds like a death trap, with storms, beasts, and wars. What's your deal? You act like you faced worse every breakfast. Tazara raised two arms for order, her voice steady yet probing. Indeed, this raises questions about our galactic community's vulnerabilities. If Voran's shadows can breed such horrors, what of other harsh realms? Student Varn's perspective may illuminate our fragility. Discuss. How do we fortify peace against these cosmic barbarities? The professor's encouragement stirred debate, whispers evolving into animated exchanges, the hologram flickering as if alive. Bryce's eyes narrowed slightly, a subtle smile playing on his lips. He knew this was just the prelude. As he prepared to delve deeper, recounting Terra Nova's brutal ecosystems where life adapted through relentless adaptation and conflict, the class's curiosity swelled, unaware that his words were laying the groundwork for a revelation that would test them all. The discussion intensified, with students from various worlds sharing tales of minor threats. But none matched Bryce's emerging narrative. He described Terra Nova's raging deserts spanning 10,000 square kilometers, where sandstorms buried cities in hours, forcing humans to build fortified enclaves. Our predators don't just hunt, they strategize, using terrain to their advantage, he said, his tone laced with strategic undertones. We've learned to do the same. Tazara nodded slowly, her skepticism giving way to intrigue. Fascinating. If true, this implies a paradigm shift in our survival doctrines. Quill, still quivering, leaned in virtually. But how? Tell us more. Does it make you stronger? Gorvex grunted. Or just reckless? Prove it, human. As the hour ticked toward 14 hours station time, the classroom's energy crackled, the hologram of the Nightshade Prowler seeming to watch Bryce with predatory interest. He touched his wrist device imperceptibly, building tension through rhetorical pauses. Imagine a world where every dawn brings a new trial, volcanic eruptions, and predatory swarms. Terra Nova isn't just a planet, it's a forge. The students hung on his words, the spherical room's lights pulsing in rhythm with their growing unease. Tazara pressed, And you, Varn, what role do you play in this forge? Bryce's response was measured, hinting at secrets. One that ensures survival, Professor. For all of us. The scene flowed onward, Bryce's composure contrasting the alien's mounting anxiety, setting the stage for deeper revelations. Quill's glow softened slightly, curiosity overriding fear. If your world is so wild, maybe we need to learn from it. Gorvex crossed his arms, equivalent. Or beware it. Tazara, adapting swiftly, steered the talk. Let us explore this further. Varn's insights may be the key to our collective resilience. Unbeknownst to them, Bryce's mind raced ahead, his mission from Terra Nova to probe Stellar Haven's readiness. Nearing its critical phase, the classroom's peaceful hum belied the storm to come. The air in Stellar Haven's spherical classroom thickened with dread as the Nightshade Prowler's hologram loomed larger, its shadowy form seeming to pulse with menace. Unknown to the students, Bryce Varn's calm facade masked a calculated plan to thrust them into a crucible that would test the Galactic Alliance's fragile unity. Professor Vane adjusted her digital lenses, her forearms moving with precision to enhance the hologram. The Nightshade Prowler materialized fully at 1.2 meters tall, its sinuous body cloaked in darkness, save for venomous claws and fangs, each 15 centimeters long, glinting with a sickly green glow. Originating from Vorn's perpetual night, where forests swallowed light and caves exhaled danger, the creature moved with eerie silence, its form blurring as if woven from shadows. Vane's voice, amplified through her translator, carried a measured caution. This predator strikes in under 10 seconds, its venom paralyzing victims instantly. From Vorn's ecosystem, it knows no mercy, only instinct. How can intellect alone counter such a force? The hologram prowled a virtual circle 5 meters wide, its simulated growls vibrating the room's metallic walls, amplifying the students' unease. Quill, hovering in her zero-gravity suit, pulsed bright pink, her translucent form radiating alarm, a Nethorian trait signaling imminent danger. Her wind-like voice trembled, barely audible over the hum of the station's gravity fields. "Professor, it's invisible. How do we even see it coming?" Energy collided as her panic rippled through the class. Nearby, Gorvex's 6 legs scraped the floor, his black chitin armor reflecting the hologram's glow. His antennae twitched violently, emitting sharp clicks of skepticism, a Zoltarian reflex from a world where collective strength trumped all. "This thing would shred our hives in seconds," he snapped, his voice a low buzz. "What's the point of studying it if we're just prey?" The classroom buzzed with anxious murmurs, the air cooling as ventilation systems strained under the collective tension. Bryce Varn leaned forward, blue eyes locked on the hologram with unsettling calm. His gray-silver uniform, marked with Terra Nova's rugged emblem, seemed out of place amid the alien's fear. "On Terra Nova, we have beasts just as deadly," he said, his voice sharp and strategic, cutting through the chaos. "Take the Razor Claw Pack, 1.5 meters long, moving at 100 kilometers per hour, hunting in coordinated strikes across deserts wider than this station. We don't just survive them, we outmaneuver them." His words landed like a shockwave, silencing the room. The students' multifaceted eyes and glowing orbs turned to him, some with awe, others with suspicion, as the hologram's claws slashed the air, casting jagged shadows across their faces. The class erupted into chaos, voices overlapping in a cacophony of fear and curiosity. A cephalopod-like student from a water world hissed, "How do humans live with such monsters?" Another, a crystalline being, vibrated with questions about Terra Nova's survival tactics. Quill, her glow stabilizing slightly, leaned toward Bryce, her voice soft but urgent. "How do you adapt to that? On Nethoria, we drift above danger, but your world sounds like a nightmare." Her question tethered the group's fear to Bryce's enigmatic presence, the room's lights flickering as if mirroring their unease. Gorvex clicked louder, his bulk shifting aggressively. "Why haven't we heard more about Terra Nova? Sounds like a deathworld no one talks about. What's your game, human?" His accusation hung heavy, amplifying the room's tension to a breaking point. Vane raised 2 arms, her luminous eyes narrowing as she processed Bryce's claims against Elisera's peaceful doctrines. "Student Varn, your comparisons challenge our survival frameworks," she said, her tone formal yet laced with doubt. "On Elisera, we prioritize intellect over brute force. Your world's chaos suggests a different paradigm. How do your people endure weekly cataclysms?" Her question, analytical yet probing, steered the discussion toward science. Though her skepticism of savage worlds lingered, the hologram pulsed, its simulated form lunging briefly, causing Quill to flare pink again and Gorvex to brace his 6 legs, ready for a fight that wasn't there, yet. Bryce's lips curved into a faint, knowing smile, his hand brushing the wrist device that hummed with latent power. Terra Nova's storms reshape continents in days. Volcanic eruptions, 200-meter-high sand walls, floods that drown cities in hours. Our predators, like the razor claws, exploit these chaos cycles, attacking when visibility drops to 0. We survive by thinking 3 steps ahead, turning their instincts against them. His words painted a vivid picture, the class imagining a planet where survival was a daily war. Quill, her courage stirring, asked, "But what makes humans so resilient? Is it your technology or something else?" Her curiosity, born of fear, hinted at her growing trust in Bryce, her glow softening to a steady pulse. Gorvex, unconvinced, slammed a clawed foot against the floor, the sound echoing. Resilient or reckless? Your planet sounds like a myth nobody verifies. Why hide it from galactic records? His hot temper, rooted in Zoltar's collective survival ethos, clashed with Bryce's cool detachment, fueling a rift among the students. Some nodded with Gorvex, others leaned toward Quill's cautious intrigue, the room splitting into factions as the hologram prowled relentlessly, its venomous claws glinting under the artificial starlight. Vane interjected, her voice steady but urgent. Enough. Varn's claims demand scrutiny, but they also expose our vulnerabilities. If Terra Nova thrives in such chaos, what does that say about our readiness? The clock ticked to 14:15 station time, the classroom's energy crackling like a brewing storm. Bryce's calm demeanor stood in stark contrast to the alien's rising panic, his strategic mind already plotting the next move. Survival isn't about avoiding danger, he said, his voice low and deliberate. It's about preparing for it. Terra Nova taught me that. His fingers grazed his wrist device again, a subtle gesture unnoticed by the class, but heavy with intent. Vane's eyes locked onto him, her scientific curiosity now tinged with suspicion. Then share more, Varn. What prepares you for a beast like this? Her question meant to probe, only deepened the mystery Bryce wove, setting the stage for a revelation that would upend their peaceful haven. Quill's glow flickered with hesitant resolve, her question cutting through the tension. If your world's so wild, could we learn from it? Gorvex snorted, his click sharp. Learn or be crushed by it. The hologram snarled, its virtual presence amplifying the stakes, as Bryce's gaze swept the room, measuring their reactions. The class, suspended in Stellar Haven's orbiting sanctuary, stood on the edge of something far greater than a lecture. A test was coming, one that would force them to confront their fears or fall to the shadows. Bryce's next words, measured and cryptic, hung in the air like a promise. You'll see soon enough. The classroom's holographic star field flickered as Bryce Varn's words painted Terra Nova as a crucible of survival, hinting at a secret purpose that would soon plunge Stellar Haven into chaos. Unseen by the students, his subtle touch on his wrist device signaled a storm brewing beneath the station's peaceful veneer, one that would test their unity against the galaxy's darkest threats. Bryce stood at the edge of the spherical classroom, blue eyes glinting under the artificial light of Stellar Haven's central hub. The room, with walls etched in galactic sigils, buzzed with the low hum of gravity fields. He spoke with measured intensity, his gray-silver uniform taut against his muscular build. Terra Nova's desert stretched 10,000 square kilometers, scorched by suns that trigger sandstorms moving 150 kilometers per hour. Predators like the razor claw, 1.5 meters long, hunt in packs at 100 kilometers per hour, striking during zero visibility storms. Their claws, sharp as monofilament blades, can shred steel. We don't just survive them, we anticipate their moves, turning their speed against them. His voice, sharp and strategic, carried the weight of a world forged in chaos. The Terra Nova emblem on his chest, a badge of relentless adaptation. The students froze, their alien forms tentacled, crystalline or gaseous, stilling in shock. Quill, her wind-like voice, wavered with awe. Bryce, how do humans live through that? On Nethoria, we avoid conflict, drifting above storms. Your world sounds impossible. What makes you adapt to such constant danger? Her question, born of fear-tinged curiosity, mirrored the class's stunned silence. The hologram of the Nightshade Prowler dimming as if overshadowed by Bryce's words. The room's air grew heavy, ventilation systems whirring at 10 cubic meters per second to counter the rising tension. Gorvex clicked his mandibles sharply, his black chitin reflecting the room's lights. From Zoltar, where survival hinged on collective might, his hot temper flared. Your Terra Nova sounds like a deathworld's fever dream. On Zoltar, we build hives to withstand quakes, not chase predators for sport. What's to stop your razor claws from wiping you out? His 6 legs shifted, scraping the metallic floor, his skepticism fueling a growing rift. Other students murmured, a tentacled being asking, "Is Terra Nova even habitable?" The classroom's starfield display pulsed erratically, mirroring their unease as the clock ticked to 14:20 station time. Professor Vane, her pale green skin catching the hologram's glow, raised two of her forearms, her luminous eyes narrowing analytically. Her purple robe swayed as she spoke, her voice formal yet probing through her translator. Student Varn, your account suggests a survival paradigm alien to Elisera's intellectual frameworks. Our strategies prioritize stability, not conflict. How does Terra Nova's chaos inform your approach to threats, like the Nightshade Prowler? Her question, rooted in scientific curiosity, carried a trace of doubt about savage worlds, her digital lenses zooming subtly to study Bryce's reaction. The room's 50-meter expanse felt smaller, the walls closing in as the students leaned forward, hungry for answers. Bryce's gaze swept the room, his hand brushing his wrist device, a sleek 5-centimeter band humming with latent power, hinting at secrets yet to unfold. 200 years ago, Terra Nova's wars reshaped our world, he said, his voice low, conjuring a vivid flashback. Cities fell to quakes and floods, yet we rebuilt in fortified enclaves, 50 meters high, carved into cliffs to defy storms. Razor claws hunted us, but we learned their patterns, luring them into traps during eruptions that shook 500 kilometers of crust weekly. Survival meant planning under pressure, staying calm when death was one misstep away. The class hung on his words, imagining a planet where life battled nature's fury daily, the hologram forgotten as Bryce's narrative took hold. A crystalline student vibrated, its voice a harmonic hum. How do you stay calm when everything's trying to kill you? Others nodded, their curiosity piquing, the room's energy crackling like a prelude to a storm. Quill, her glow steadying, leaned in, her loyalty to Bryce growing. Does Terra Nova's chaos make it a threat to Stellar Haven? Could your strategies help us, or are they too dangerous? Her question, soft but pointed, tethered her trust to the group's rising intrigue, the air cooling as ventilation adjusted to the 22-degree ambient temperature. Gorvex snorted, his clicks sharp. A threat? More like a lie. Why's your planet barely in our archives? What are you hiding, human? His accusation sparked murmurs, dividing the class into those intrigued by Bryce and those wary of his origins. Vane interjected, her analytical mind racing. Varn's claims, if true, expose gaps in our galactic defenses. If Terra Nova thrives amid such savagery, what lessons can we draw? Her question reframed the debate, urging collaboration, though her skepticism lingered. Bryce's fingers grazed his wrist device again, a subtle gesture unnoticed by most, but heavy with intent. It's not about hiding, he said, his tone cryptic, eyes locking with Gorvex's compound gaze. It's about preparation. Terra Nova doesn't just survive, it thrives because we face what others avoid. His words, understated yet chilling, sent a shiver through the room, the students sensing a deeper purpose behind his calm. The tension escalated, the classroom's starfield pulsing red as if warning of danger. Gorvex's antennae twitched, his voice a low buzz. Prove it then. Your stories sound too wild to trust. Quill, her courage stirring, countered softly. Maybe we need to understand, not fight him. The rift deepened, students whispering about Terra Nova's mysteries, some fearing its power, others craving its secrets. Vane's eyes gleamed with intrigue, her voice sharp. Varn, your world's strategies intrigue us, but they also unsettle. What role do you play in this forge you describe? Her question, meant to probe, only amplified the suspense, the hologram flickering as if sensing the storm Bryce was about to unleash. As the clock hit 14:25, Bryce's smile tightened, his hand resting on his wrist device, its faint hum inaudible amid the class's clamor. My role, he said, his voice ablade, to ensure we're ready for what's coming. The students leaned forward, the room's gravity fields humming at 1G, yet the air felt heavier, charged with anticipation. Quill's glow softened, her trust in Bryce solidifying despite her fear. Gorvex's clicks grew quieter, his suspicion warring with reluctant respect. The scene flowed toward an inevitable revelation. The classroom's peace, a fragile shell about to crack, as Bryce's words laid the groundwork for a test that would redefine their understanding of survival. The hum of Stellar Haven's classroom vibrated with unspoken questions, as Bryce Varn's cryptic tales of Terra Nova's savagery hinted at a hidden agenda that would soon thrust the station into a trial by fire. Beneath his steady gaze, a single touch on his wrist device at 14:30 station time promised to unravel the fragile piece, forcing every being present to question not just his origins, but their readiness for the galaxy's untamed threats. Professor Vane stood at the podium, her 2-meter frame rigid, pale green skin catching the starfield's glow across the 50-meter spherical classroom. Her forearms folded tightly, digital lenses zooming as her luminous eyes fixed on Bryce. "Student Varn," she said, her voice sharp through the translator. "Your tales of Terra Nova's chaos raise doubts. What is your true role here? Are you merely a student or something more?" Her question, laced with Elisara's analytical skepticism, pierced the room's tense air, the metallic walls reflecting the hologram's fading Nightshade Prowler, its 1.2-meter form still looming like a specter of doubt. The students shifted, their alien forms, tentacled, crystalline, gaseous, bristling with unease, the gravity fields humming steadily at 1G. Bryce, his 1.85-meter frame leaning casually against a console, met Vane's gaze with unflinching calm, his blue eyes sharp under cropped black hair. His gray-silver uniform, marked with Terra Nova's rugged emblem, seemed to carry the weight of his world's history. "Terra Nova's jungles," he began, his voice low and deliberate, "span 8,000 square kilometers, choked with vines that strangle steel and storms that flood valleys in hours. Every day, lightning strikes ignite fires across 200 kilometers of canopy. Predators like the Shadow Stalker, 2 meters long, moving at 80 kilometers per hour, hunt through the chaos, invisible until their jaws close. We survive by reading the land, turning nature's fury into our shield." His words painted a vivid, brutal world, each detail sharpening the class's curiosity and suspicion. The students erupted, their voices a chaotic blend of fear and fascination. Gorvex slammed a clawed foot against the floor. His antennae twitched, emitting rapid clicks from Zoltar's collective ethos. "Stories aren't proof, human," he growled, his voice a harsh buzz. "You talk of surviving deathworlds, but where's the evidence? Terra Nova sounds like a fable to scare hatchlings." His challenge sparked murmurs, a tentacled student hissing, "No world could be that wild." The classroom's starfield pulsed red, mirroring the rising conflict, as Gorvex's suspicion fueled a growing divide among the 30 students. Quill, cutting through the chaos. "Bryce, if your world faces such threats, how could we work together to survive something like that here?" Her question, creative and tentative, showed her loyalty shifting toward him, her energy collars flickering as she steadied her nerves. The room's lights dimmed slightly, casting her glow across the faces of her peers, who leaned in, torn between fear and intrigue. Bryce's lips twitched into a faint smile, his hand brushing his wrist device, a 5-centimeter band pulsing faintly. "What makes you think survival is just about fighting?" he asked, his rhetorical tone deepening the mystery. "Isn't it about knowing when to act and when to wait?" Vane's eyes narrowed, her analytical mind adapting swiftly. "Varn's perspective challenges our galactic security protocols," she said, her voice steady but urgent. "If Terra Nova thrives in such anarchy, how do we fortify Stellar Haven against similar threats? What strategies do you propose?" Her question shifted the debate toward practicality, though her skepticism of Bryce's motives lingered, her forearms gesturing to quell the class's unrest. Bryce's fingers rested on his wrist device, its faint vibration unnoticed by the class but heavy with intent. "Survival starts with trust," he said, his voice ablade. "But trust is earned through action, not words. Terra Nova taught me that." His cryptic response hung in the air, the students' whispers growing louder, debating his sincerity. A crystalline student hummed, "He speaks like a soldier, not a student. Another muttered, "What's he hiding?" Gorvek stepped forward, his 6 legs planting firmly, his click sharp and defiant. "If you're so clever, human, prove it. Show us how you'd face that prowler, or admit you're all talk." His challenge, bold and honest, echoed Zoltar's warrior spirit, pushing Bryce to the edge of revelation. Quill, her glow steadying, added softly, "I believe he knows something we don't. But is Terra Nova a threat to us?" The psychological debate ignited, and students are grappling with trust and identity. A gaseous being asked, "Can we trust a human from a world like that?" Another countered, "Maybe we need his strength." Vane interjected, her voice commanding, "Enough. Varn's claims force us to question our unity. If he speaks truth, we must learn, or risk being unprepared." Her words, analytical yet urgent, reframed the conflict, urging collaboration. Bryce's gaze swept the room, his hand pressing his wrist device at exactly 14:30, a silent signal that shifted the air. "You want proof?" he said, his tone low, almost chilling. "Watch closely." The classroom's lights flickered, the starfield turning blood red as a low rumble echoed through Stellar Haven's hull. The students froze, Quill's glow flaring in alarm, Gorvex's claws tensing, Vane's lenses zooming in confusion. Bryce's calm facade cracked into a knowing grin, his wrist device emitting a faint beep. "It's time you learned what survival means," he said, his voice cutting through the chaos. The hologram of the Nightshade Prowler vanished, replaced by a station-wide alert flashing across every console. "Simulation activated." The room shook, a 200-meter corridor beyond the classroom walls glowing with virtual threats, as Bryce's true purpose began to unfold, plunging the class into a test they never expected. At precisely 15 Shearer station time, Stellar Haven's serene halls trembled as Bryce Varn's hidden truth unraveled with a single command, transforming the classroom's peace into a battlefield of trust and survival. The galaxy's illusion of safety was shattered, revealing a human whose calculated deception would force every being to confront their deepest fears or forge an unbreakable alliance. Bryce Varn stood motionless in the spherical classroom, a pillar of calm amid the rising chaos, his blue eyes glinting with purpose. "I'm not just a student," Bryce said, his voice cutting through the stunned silence like a blade. "I'm a covert operative from Terra Nova, sent to test Stellar Haven's readiness for threats like Vorn's predators. This station's peace is a luxury. Let's see if you can survive the real galaxy." The students gasped, their alien forms, tentacled, crystalline, gaseous, recoiling as the room's starfield display turned blood red, the gravity fields humming at 1G. The station shook, a low rumble vibrating through the metallic walls. A virtual Nightshade Prowler, 2 meters tall with 15-centimeter venomous claws, prowled the simulated hallway, its shadowy form blurring into near invisibility. Its glowing fangs snapped, emitting guttural snarls that chilled the air, now dropping to 20 degrees as ventilation strained at 22 cubic meters per second. "Bryce, why manipulate us like this? You've thrown us into danger without warning." Quill's energy collars flickered, her panic reflecting the class's collective shock, their eyes darting between Bryce and the prowling hologram. Gorvex clicked his mandibles furiously, his black chitin armor reflecting the red alerts. From Zoltar's collective ethos, his suspicion boiled into rage. "A spy? You've been playing us from the start," he roared, his 6 legs scraping the floor. "What's the point of this test? To mock our weakness? Stellar Haven's no deathworld. Why bring your chaos here?" His accusation sparked murmurs, a cephalopod-like student hissing, "He's endangering us all." The classroom's starfield pulsed erratically, the virtual prowler lunging in the hologram, amplifying the stakes as the students grappled with Bryce's deception. Professor Vane, "Silence. Varn's actions, though unorthodox, expose our vulnerabilities. If this simulation mirrors real threats, how do we collaborate to survive?" Her question, rooted in Elisara's analytical pragmatism, cut through the panic, urging unity despite her initial doubt. She gestured to the hologram, where the prowler stalked a virtual corridor lined with 10-meter-high panels, its claws slashing air. We have no time for division. Propose strategies now. Her leadership steadied the room, though the air crackled with distrust. Bryce stepped forward, his voice calm but unyielding. Terra Nova sent me because the galaxy's wild worlds, like Varn, don't respect your peace. Nightshade Prowlers hunt in shadows, but they're predictable if you know their triggers. This simulation tests whether you can adapt before real claws strike. His explanation, laced with strategic clarity, linked his deception to a greater purpose, though it deepened the rift. A crystalline student vibrated. You lied to protect us? Another snapped. Or to control us? The psychological clash erupted, students debating trust and identity, their voices overlapping as the prowler's snarls grew louder. Quill, her glow softening to a steady pulse, found her courage, her voice rising. Bryce, if we're in this, what's the first trap to avoid? How do we outsmart that thing? Her question, creative and resolute, marked her shift from panic to determination, her loyalty to Bryce solidifying despite the betrayal. The hologram showed the prowler pausing, its claws glinting as it sensed virtual prey, its movements synchronized to a 10-second strike cycle. Gorvex, his suspicion wavering, stepped forward, his strength evident in his braced legs. Fine, human. I'll fight, but not for you. For us. His click softened, his Zoltarian bravery aligning with the group's survival, his 200-kilogram frame ready to act. Bryce nodded, his eyes scanning the class. The prowler's venom paralyzes in 10 seconds, but it hunts by sound. Stay silent, move low, use the corridor's panels as cover. Work together, or it picks you off one by one. His command, sharp and military, galvanized the students, though distrust lingered. Vane added, combine your strengths, Nethorian signals, Zoltarian power, Elisarian analysis. We have 20 minutes before the simulation escalates. Her directive bridged the divide, the students forming uneasy teams, their movements frantic as the hologram showed the prowler vanishing into shadows. The tension surged, the classroom's lights dimming as the simulation's first trap activated, a virtual sonic pulse rippling through the corridor designed to lure the prowler. Quill's glow flared, signaling danger, while Gorvex positioned himself to block a collapsing panel, his strength holding firm. Bryce moved among them, his wrist device pulsing, his calm a stark contrast to the chaos. Trust isn't given, it's built, he said, his voice low, eyes locking with Gorvex. Prove you're more than prey. The students' actions grew coordinated, their internal conflict simmering but yielding to survival's demands, the prowler's snarls echoing as the simulation intensified. By 1510, the classroom shook again, the hologram expanding to show multiple prowlers stalking, their claws slashing through virtual barriers. Quill whispered, "There's more than one?" Gorvex growled, "Let's crush them." Vane's voice cut through, "Focus, adapt, or fall." The students, pushed to their limits, faced a choice. Unite under Bryce's lead or fracture under doubt. The scene surged toward the next trial, the stations hum a relentless pulse, as Bryce's test revealed not just their weaknesses, but the potential for a stronger galactic alliance, forged in the shadow of simulated claws. Stellar Haven's central hub quaked as virtual Nightshade Prowlers emerged from simulated shadows, their invisible claws slicing through the illusion of safety. Bryce Varn's calculated test pushed the Galactic students to their limits, revealing whether their fragile alliance could withstand the chaos of a deathworld's reality or crumble under the weight of their distrust. The simulation escalated at 15:15 station time, the corridor beyond the classroom transforming into a virtual battlefield. 3 Nightshade Prowlers, their shadowy forms vanishing into tattered invisibility within 10 seconds. Their snarls echoed through the metallic walls, the air chilling to 19 degrees as ventilation systems roared at 25 cubic meters per second. Bryce Varn stood at the center, his gray-silver uniform marked with Terra Nova's emblem. His blue eyes scanned the panicked students, his voice sharp and commanding. "They're fast but predictable. Use your species' strengths, combine them, or we're prey. What can you offer?" His question, strategic and urgent, forced the aliens to confront their diverse abilities. his wrist device pulsing faintly as he orchestrated the trial. Quill's energy collars flared as a Nethorian danger signal. Her wind-like voice, steadier now, cut through the chaos. "Bryce, how do we stay united? We're fighting each other as much as those things." Her question, born of her growing resolve, addressed the internal strife threatening their survival, her glow illuminating the faces of her peers in the flickering starfield. The hologram showed a prowler lunging at a virtual panel, its claws slashing through 10-centimeter thick steel, amplifying the stakes. Students scrambled, their alien forms tentacled, crystalline, gaseous, colliding in the 50-meter orb, their panic a tangible weight against the 1G gravity fields. Gorvex reacted instinctively, his black chitin armor gleaming under red alerts. From Zoltar's collective ethos surged forward, blocking a collapsing virtual panel that threatened to crush a crystalline student. His 6 legs braced, claws digging into the floor, his clicks softer now, his suspicion of Bryce waning. "Fine, human, I'll hold the line," he growled, his voice a low buzz. "But this better work." His action, rooted in raw strength, steadied the group, though his compound eyes still darted toward Bryce, searching for deception. The panel, 5 meters wide, shuddered in the hologram, the prowler's snarls growing louder as it vanished again, its 10-second stealth cycle resetting. Professor Vane moved among the students, her forearms directing their efforts with Elisarian precision. Her luminous eyes, amplified by digital lenses, analyzed the simulation's patterns, her purple robes swaying as she spoke through her translator. "The prowlers hunt by sound and motion. Long-term, we need a strategy to disrupt their cycles. What patterns do you see?" Her question, analytical and forward-thinking, urged the students to think beyond immediate survival, her voice steadying the chaos. The hologram showed the prowlers circling a virtual hub, their claws glinting as they prepared to strike, the simulation clock ticking to 1520. The group dodged the first trap, a cloud of virtual venom dispersing, its paralyzing toxin effective within 10 seconds. Bryce directed them to crouch behind panels, his voice military precise. "Stay low, move in pairs, use silence. The venom dissipates in 20 seconds if you avoid its radius." His leadership, honed on Terra Nova's chaotic battlegrounds, kept the students alive through 20 minutes of relentless maneuvering, their breaths shallow in the 19-degree air. A tentacled student whispered, "He's saving us, but why lie?" Another hissed, "He's testing us like lab specimens." The psychological tension flared, Bryce's identity as a spy fueling heated debates even as they evaded claws. Bryce faced the distrust head-on, his voice low but unyielding. "You think I'm the enemy? Terra Nova taught me that survival depends on trust earned through action. Prove you're worth it." His challenge, laced with a rhetorical edge, forced the students to confront their doubts. His 1.85-meter frame, a steady anchor amid the chaos. Quill, her glow stabilizing, proposed a creative idea. "What if we use my light to signal safe zones? It could guide us without sound." Her innovation, born of Nethorian adaptability, sparked nods, her courage cementing her role as an ally. The hologram showed her glow pulsing in sync with the simulation, marking a 5-meter safe zone as a prowler lunged past. Gorvex, his suspicion fading, took the lead in a counterattack, his strength propelling him toward a virtual trap, a collapsing 8-meter wall triggered by the prowler's movements. "Follow me," he roared, his clicks echoing as he shoved the wall aside, clearing a path for a gaseous student. His bravery, rooted in Zoltar's collective spirit, bridged the divide, uniting the group in action. Vane nodded, her voice sharp. "Gorvex's strength, Quill's signals, combine them. We have 15 minutes before the simulation escalates." Her directive, blending analysis with urgency, pushed the students to collaborate, their movements syncing as they navigated the corridor's 200-meter maze. The tension peaked, the classroom shaking as the hologram expanded, showing 2 more prowlers emerging from shadows, their claws slashing through virtual barriers. Quill's glow flared, signaling a new trap, a sonic pulse designed to lure the prowlers. "Bryce, what now?" she asked, her voice firm. Gorvex braced for impact, his clicks resolute. "We fight together or die alone." Bryce's eyes gleamed, his wrist device humming as he prepared the next phase. Stay sharp. They're testing your limits, and so am I. The students, their distrust yielding to necessity, moved as one, their actions a fragile thread of unity. The simulation's intensity surged, the starfield pulsing blood red as the scene hurtled toward a climactic confrontation, the Prowler's snarls a promise of greater trials to come. The simulation reached its breaking point at 1530, as Stellar Haven's core shuddered under the onslaught of virtual Nightshade Prowlers, their claws tearing through the illusion of galactic unity. Bryce Varn's test pushed the students to the edge, where trust in a human from a savage world would either forge them into a force to be reckoned with or leave them scattered in the face of cosmic chaos. The holographic battlefield shifted, the corridor collapsing into a simulation chamber, its virtual walls pulsing with crimson alerts. 4 Nightshade Prowlers accelerated, their shadowy forms flickering in and out of visibility every 8 seconds. Bryce Varn stood at the center, his gray-silver uniform taut, Terra Nova's emblem a beacon of defiance. His blue eyes burned with resolve as he barked, "Do you trust me now, or will you break? We end this together. Prove you're more than prey." His question, sharp and commanding, forced the students to confront their doubts, his wrist device humming with a faint, ominous pulse. Fear still lingered, but Quill's wind-like voice carried newfound strength. "Bryce, how do we combine our minds to stop them? Nithorian signal? But we need more. Your strategies, their strength." Her question, urgent and creative, marked her transformation from panic to resolve, her glow cutting through the chaos to guide her peers. The hologram showed a prowler lunging, its claws slashing a virtual barrier, missing a tentacled student by centimeters. The class's 30 alien forms, crystalline, gaseous, scaled, scrambled, their movements frantic in the 1G gravity field. The room's starfield display strobing red like a dying star. Gorvex charged to shield a crystalline student from a collapsing 6-meter panel. "I don't like you, human, but I'll fight," he roared, his buzz fierce yet loyal. "Tell us how to crush these things." His bravery, rooted in Zoltar's collective ethos, rallied the group, his 6 legs planting firmly as he shoved debris aside, clearing a path. The Prowler's claws glinted, their 8-second stealth cycles accelerating, forcing the students to act or perish. Professor Vane moved with Elisarian precision, her 4 arms directing the chaos, digital lenses zooming to track the Prowler's patterns. Her purple robe swayed as her voice cut through the snarls via her translator. "Varn, is this simulation a mirror of Terra Nova's reality? What else are you hiding?" Her question, analytical yet laced with urgency, probed Bryce's true intentions, her luminous eyes scanning for answers. The hologram showed a Prowler vanishing, only to reappear 10 meters away, its venom cloud spreading across a 15-meter radius, paralyzing in 8 seconds. "Focus," she snapped. "Their patterns repeat. Find the flaw, or we're done." The internal conflict peaked, and students teetered between unity and fracture. A gaseous student hissed, "He's a liar. Why follow him?" Another countered, "He's kept us alive." Bryce faced the distrust head-on, his voice a low growl. "You want truth? I'm a product of a world where hesitation kills. Terra Nova's predators taught me to exploit weaknesses. Yours is division. Choose now. Fight as one or fall alone." His words, military precise, silenced the dissent, his strategic brilliance shining as he dodged a virtual claw. For 15 relentless minutes, the students evaded traps, sonic pulses, collapsing walls, and venom clouds, each action a desperate bid for survival. Quill's glow pulsed rhythmically, signaling safe zones every 10 seconds, her creativity saving a scaled student from a Prowler's lunge. Gorvex, his strength unmatched, toppled the barrier, his clicks triumphant as he cleared a path. Vane analyzed the Prowler's cycles, shouting, "Their stealth fails at 8 seconds. Strike then." The students, pushed to their limits, faced a brutal choice. Trust Bryce's lead or succumb to chaos. A tentacled student whispered, "He's no ordinary human," the realization dawning that Terra Nova had forged a predator of its own. Bryce's skills erupted. He lured a Prowler into a sonic trap that stunned it for 3 seconds. his wrist device syncing with the simulation to amplify the effect. "Now!" he roared, directing Gorvex to crush the stunned Prowler, shattering its virtual form. The class gasped. The HFY surge electric, where aliens saw doom, a human turned the tide with ruthless precision. Quill's voice rose. "We're doing it!" Her glow synced with Vane's commands, blending Nethorian signals with Elisarian strategy, while Gorvex's strength anchored their defense. The final Prowler lunged, its claws grazing Bryce's uniform. The students, united at last, executed Vane's plan. Quill's glow drew the Prowler, Gorvex's charge disrupted its stealth, and Bryce's trap, a redirected sonic pulse, immobilized it at 1545. The hologram flickered, the Prowlers dissolving, the simulation chamber falling silent. The class stood breathless, their distrust replaced by awe, the starfield dimming to a soft blue. Vane's voice broke the silence. "Varn, you've shown us our weakness and our strength." Bryce nodded, his wrist device still, his eyes sweeping the room. This was just the beginning. The students, battered but unbroken, exchanged glances, Quill's glow steady, Gorvex's clicks soft, Vane's lenses focused. The simulation's end at 1546 marked not defeat, but triumph, their unity forged in the crucible of Bryce's test. The classroom's hum softened, the air warming to 20 degrees. As the scene flowed toward resolution, the students' newfound respect for humanity's resilience echoing in their silence. Bryce's voice, calm yet commanding, sealed the moment. "You're ready for what's next. Trust that." The stage was set for Stellar Haven's transformation, their galactic alliance stronger for it. The simulation's final echoes faded at 16 Wars station time, leaving Stellar Haven's classroom bathed in a soft blue glow, as if the stars themselves exhaled in relief. Bryce Varn's test had forged the students into a unified force, their victory over virtual predators, proving humanity's savage wisdom, could strengthen the galaxy's fragile alliance. The 50-meter spherical classroom, its metallic walls etched with galactic sigils, hummed softly, the gravity field steady at 1G. The hologram of the Nightshade Prowlers dissolved, the 100-square-meter simulation chamber now a memory on the screens, as the students stood breathless, their alien forms, translucent, chitinous, crystalline, united in a shared triumph. Bryce Varn stepped forward, his gray-silver uniform marked with Terra Nova's rugged emblem. His blue eyes softened, his voice calm but probing. "You faced the shadows and won. What did you learn about survival?" His question, strategic yet open, invited reflection. His wrist device was silent for the first time since 15. Kihiu. "Bryce, we learned to combine our strengths, my signals, Gorvex's power, Vane's analysis. But what's next for the Galactic Alliance? Can we stay united against real threats?" Quill's question, bold and forward-thinking, reflected her growth from fear to courage, her glow illuminating the faces of her peers. The starfield display stabilized, its blue hue mirroring the room's calming energy, as students nodded, their earlier panic replaced by purpose. Gorvex's suspicion of Bryce had transformed into respect, his Zoltarian ethos of collective strength now embracing humanity's resilience. "You're no liar, human," he said, his buzz warm with pride. "Terra Nova's chaos taught us to fight as one. I'd stand with you again." Gorvex acknowledged Bryce's leadership, the classroom's hum a quiet backdrop to his newfound trust. A tentacled student murmured, "He's one of us now," the sentiment echoing through the group, their unity palpable. Professor Vane, her four arms gesturing expansively, her purple robe swayed, digital lenses retracting as her luminous eyes met Bryce's. "Your test exposed our fragility, Varn, but also our potential," she said through her translator, her voice analytical yet warm. "How do we adapt our cultures to face such threats long-term? Stellar Haven must evolve." Her question, rooted in leadership, spurred the students to consider their shared future, her role shifting from skeptic to guide. She activated a console, logging the simulation's success, initiating a new survival training program to be implemented station-wide by 1630. Bryce nodded, his cropped black hair catching the light, his decision clear. I'll stay, he said, his voice steady. Terra Nova's strength comes from its differences. Humans, storms, predators, all forged together. Stellar Haven can do the same. Honor, his choice to remain, training the next generation, cemented his role as a bridge between worlds, a symbol of humanity's grit. The students, once divided, now stood united, their growth from fear to fortitude evident in their steady gazes. Quill's glow pulsed rhythmically, Gorvex's click softened, and a crystalline student hummed. We're stronger now. The classroom's atmosphere shifted, the starfield display casting a serene glow, its walls reflecting the students' newfound resolve. Vane's voice rose, commanding attention. This simulation is only the beginning. Stellar Haven will launch a program integrating Terra Nova's strategies with our collective knowledge, starting tomorrow at 08 Show. Her announcement logged at 16:05 marked the station's transformation, its 10,000 inhabitants now poised to face cosmic threats. The students cheered, their voices hisses, hums, clicks, blending in a chorus of unity. Quill approached Bryce, her glow soft but confident. You pushed us to be better. Will the galaxy accept humans like this? Her question, tinged with hope, reflected the Alliance's potential, her 1.6-meter form hovering steady. Gorvex joined, his bulk towering, but his tone light. They'd better. Humans aren't just survivors, they're builders. His respect, hard-earned, echoed the HFY surge, the class's awe for Bryce's leadership palpable. Vane added, Varn's test showed our differences are our strength. We'll train to harness them. Her words sealed the bond, the students' growth from fear to courage a testament to their shared trial. By 1610, Stellar Haven felt reborn, its central hub buzzing with purpose. The students, once paralyzed by the Nightshade Prowler's hologram, now stood as warriors, their internal conflicts resolved through action. Bryce's voice, calm yet resonant, closed the session. The galaxy's wild, but you're ready. Trust that and each other. His words, understated yet profound, left the students imagining a stronger future. Their unity a shield against the unknown. The classroom's lights brightened, the starfield steady, as the station prepared for a new era of resilience, forged in the crucible of Bryce's test. The timeline closed, Bryce's role as trainer secured, his Terra Nova heritage a beacon for the galaxy. The students dispersed, their steps lighter, their voices alive with plans for tomorrow's training. Stellar Haven, orbiting its neutral star, stood ready, its 10,000-meter structure a testament to unity. Bryce lingered, his wrist device still, his blue eyes scanning the stars. This is just the start, he whispered, his words a vow to forge a galaxy unyielding to its shadows. The students, once divided by fear, now trained as one, their diverse strengths woven into a shield against cosmic threats. Bryce, the human from Terra Nova, stood as their guide, his savage world's lessons a beacon for survival. The stars beyond the station whispered of challenges yet to come, but the Alliance, forged in the shadow of virtual claws, stood ready, united, resilient, and unbroken.